So if Singaporeans are having fewer children, here's the uncomfortable question. Who will live in all these homes 20 years from now? Because if the local population cannot fully replace itself through births, Singapore has another lever: immigration.
And the government has been quite clear that immigration will remain part of the solution. But this is where the housing story takes an unexpected turn. Singapore doesn't simply need more people. It needs people who can contribute, integrate, work, build families, and eventually sink roots here. Now, that doesn't mean every new citizen is wealthy. And it certainly doesn't mean every new citizen will buy a condominium. But many will already be working adults. Some will be professionals. Some will arrive with families. Some will have spent years building careers and savings in Singapore before becoming PRs or citizens. And unlike a newborn Singaporean, their housing demand can arrive almost immediately.
Therefore, someone who arrived as a tenant can eventually become a buyer. Now we arrive at the real question. What will they buy? A single professional may happily choose a compact apartment near the CBD. But a professional family from overseas may have completely different expectations. Perhaps even coming with the expectation that a successful career should eventually buy them more space, not less. And that's the paradox. Singapore's shrinking local households may support the case for smaller homes. But some of the people helping replenish Singapore's future population may have both the purchasing power and the preference for larger ones. So future housing demand isn't simply about asking, how many people will Singapore have? It's about asking, who are they? What can they afford? And perhaps most importantly, how will they want to live? Because Singapore isn't only building homes for today's population. It's building homes for a population that is still taking shape.
So after everything we've looked at, are Singapore homes simply getting too small? I don't think the answer is that simple, because every side of this story makes sense. Developers face expensive land, higher construction costs, and buyers who still have limits on the total price they can afford. So smaller homes help keep the purchase quantum within reach. That makes sense. But larger, older homes offer something difficult to replace. And for families who can afford it, that space may become more valuable over time. That makes sense too. Then, demographics complicate everything. Singaporeans are having fewer children. More people are staying single. Households are changing. The population is aging. So perhaps some people genuinely don't need as much space as previous generations. Again, that makes sense. But immigration adds another layer. Singapore may increasingly depend on new PRs and citizens to support its population and economy. And some of those future households may bring different incomes, different family structures, and very different expectations of what a home should be. So where does that leave us?
Maybe Singapore's housing dilemma isn't really about whether homes should be bigger or smaller. It's about trying to solve four problems at the same time. Can people actually buy the home? Can they comfortably live inside it? Does the housing stock match the households Singapore will actually have? And finally, does the home still feel like progress? Because that's something spreadsheets sometimes miss. A home isn't just a financial asset. It's also where people imagine the next stage of their lives. So perhaps the real challenge for Singapore isn't choosing between bigger homes and smaller homes. It's maintaining enough choice. Small homes for people who value efficiency and location. Larger homes for families who need space. Older homes that continue providing an alternative to new launches. Maybe the question we should be asking isn't, are Singapore homes getting too small? Maybe it's, are we building enough different kinds of homes for the different kinds of lives that Singaporeans actually want? And that may be the real Singapore housing dilemma.